welcome back to Underrated Movies. I'm your guy, I'm your man, Mr. Alton Henry. Today I'm going to talk to you about a film that's kind of underrated. It's underrated, but I guess in the ways that you don't really expect. Jackie Chan's The Protector, 1985. This is actually his second attempt breaking into the U.S. market. And it's a story about a cop who's basically about a cop who's trying to get revenge for his partner's death against the criminal underbelly of China that leads into the U.S. and then back. Back in the 80s, where it focused heavily on the trends of cops and robbers, cops and dealing with crooked corporate organizations that are doing international drug dealings and all that. Kind of miss it, to be honest with you. Crimes, drugs, and all that. You know, it's just Jackie Chan's take on it, where I think a little bit of history behind it. I think this film is a little bit notorious, known for Jackie Chan not able to put his input on the film, and it's also notorious for being one of his worst movies. I'm here to tell you it's not all that bad if you kind of take it with a grain of salt. Well, not take it with a grain of salt. That's the more bad expression. If you kind of just go with the flow with it. Don't expect too much when watching this film. It's a different Jackie Chan film, and it's a film that I think the filmmaker maybe should have allowed Jackie Chan to have some input on it, but I actually am a little bit glad that he tried to do things a little bit differently in his way and not having Jackie Chan's input on it, because the action is staged as, again, those typical cops and robbers 1980s movies like You're the Dragon, kind of like Blade Runner a little bit, but Black Rain, and so many others. To be honest, this movie is actually kind of funny. And it's funny in a way to where if you watch it, you see the cliches, the tropes, the seen it, you done it before kind of trends of movies back in that time. And if you're a huge movie fanatic and who's grew up watching those kind of movies back in those days, or grew up just watching those movies, you kind of see it. You kind of see it for what it is. It's just Jackie Chan's attempt to kind of just dive into those kind of movies. Now, I actually do like some of the action scenes in there. It's kind of similar to his action approach to The Foreigner, but he mostly does punches and kicks. I actually really like the last fight scene, where I feel like they tried to really ground his fight sequence to more into realism. Now, the film, Jackie Chan, when he tried to bring the film overseas to his market, he decided to reshoot mostly the martial art action sequences. I don't know particularly which scenes he reshot. I just know he reshot the final martial arts scene. And it's actually, technology back then was crap. So when you see that transition, that's if you decide to like check out the clip on YouTube. The clip of the different scenes from that clip is actually on YouTube. His hair is different. The way the camera is placed is different. To be honest with you, I don't know really how to sell this movie to you, except for the fact that this is, again, one of those kind of cliche movies, but just with Jackie Chan in it. I actually like the film. I actually like Danny Aiello in the film. He plays Jackie Chan's partner, his new partner when it investigating the death of Jackie Chan's ex-partner and the drugs that are being supplied to the U.S. that is being distributed from China. I think there's like 2 villains in here, and some of the action scenes obviously heavily outdated. 1985. Some of it actually is pretty entertaining. You just kind of have to take it for what it is. I mean, again, it's one of those films, but with Jackie Chan in it, and some of it is actually bad to where it's actually kind of funny. Especially the scene, like there's a few scenes in there I just thought was just so funny, even though at the time it was deemed serious and enjoyable for what it was. But actually, it was kind of funny. Some of it, there was one scene in there where Jackie Chan receives a phone call from one of the bad guys, and Jackie Chan is threatening him. And really, that scene only lasts for like 30 seconds. And somebody around the corner on the edge, climbing on his apartment building, trying to shoot him, assassinate him. He gets up, he misses. Terrible shot. That dude was just so bad. And then you have Danny Aiello screaming in with an Uzi and just shooting up at the shoot up at the windows and kills the guy. The guy falls down and makes it in slow motion dramatic, like, oh, that was so tight. He's falling down and he falls down, which is terrible. And then, you have Jackie Chan and Danny Aiello running out on the street, chasing these guys. You have one car just doing donuts around Jackie Chan, trying to run him over. It's terrible. It's terrible. And then you have Jackie Chan doing this dramatic. Every time he shoots the gun, though, it like backfires on him. I mean, I don't know. I haven't shot a gun. So he does this with one hand, and maybe with the force of the gun, it's causing him to do that. It just looked kind of silly, but again, I'm not no weapon expert, so I don't know. If that's the case, you shoot with both hands. I don't know. I'm not a weapons expert, but he does do it. He shoots the car, and the car flips over. And it's actually kind of funny. If you actually look close, you actually see the little trick that the filmmakers used to flip the car over. There's a little spark that flips, making the car flip over. You just have to really look at it. And then when he comes over to tries to interrogate the guy whose head is pretty much flown out of the damn dashboard. Actually, he's halfway out the dashboard, bleeding. He's like, his head getting big like a balloon. He gets he lets up a match and just burns himself, explodes himself, blows himself up. And I thought that shit was funny. And then his partner died early in the film. Certain parts were terrible. I could tell this was on a low budget. Like, I think maybe like 15, 20 mil. Whatever that was doable back then. It was a quick cash in for this movie to get you to get on Jackie Chan's side. And it is what it is. I would encourage you guys just to check it out. I think you could watch it for free on YouTube. I mean, the movie's old, 1985, and it's not very popular. So I tend to notice if a film is very popular, doesn't matter what year it came out, you're gonna have to pay to watch it. But if it's a lesser known movie, you ain't gotta pay. Just watch it up for free. The Protector, have you seen it? Starring Jackie Chan. Comment below. Let me know if you have seen it, what you thought about it. I thought the film was not too bad. I actually liked it. Let me know what is your favorite underrated movie.